when some were speaking about the temple, how it was adorned with beautiful stones and gifts dedicated to God, Jesus said, "As for these things that you see, the days will come when not one stone will be left upon another. All will be thrown down." There was nothing more impressive in early first century Jerusalem than the temple. The temple area, including the several courts, occupied more than 25 acres. Its walls were marble, and even the exterior was adorned with gold. It had actually recently undergone significant renovation and expansion under King Herod in the time that Jesus was speaking there. The bulk of the work had been done in the decades before Jesus was born, but the finishing touches were still being carried out in the years that Jesus lived and taught. The idea was to make the temple surpass the grandeur of the first temple, Solomon's temple. It was one of numerous building projects that Herod undertook in Judea, including several palaces and a state-of-the-art harbor at Caesarea. Herod was militarily victorious and politically savvy, retaking Judea for Rome from the Hasmoneans and receiving the title king from the Roman emperor. His great projects were meant to cement his legacy and increase the prestige and prosperity of Judea, to make him and Judea great. He was ruthless, killing one of his wives and a couple of his sons when he thought that they threatened his power. And as Christians, we know him as the one who ordered the slaughter of the holy innocents, the murder of the infant and toddler boys living in the area of Bethlehem when he heard that a king was to be born there. History appends the adjective great to Herod's name. Herod the Great had been dead for nearly 30 years when Jesus was sitting in the temple courtyard among those who were marveling at how fine the holy temple was. The kingdom was now overseen by Herod's 3 sons. In the recent past, many thousands of priests and skilled laborers had worked on the temple. They had hewn and hauled and set the stone, had carved the intricate designs, had cast and mounted the gold work. Moreover, the God of Israel dwelt there. People traveled from all over Judea to offer their sacrifices and to celebrate their festivals. It was a glorious edifice, a testament to the greatness of the Lord and the greatness of the Jewish people, built at great cost. And Jesus says that it will be torn down. This is a scandalous thing to say. We can't overestimate the extent. You can almost hear Jesus being chided for not believing in Jewish exceptionalism, for not wanting Jerusalem to be great. President-elect Donald Trump and his team have just begun the hard work of putting together his administration and making plans for the policy that he will try to implement when he's inaugurated in January. If you want to read about it, his transition website is greatagain.gov. He even makes suggestions on an online forum about the kinds of things that you think the government can do to help make America great again. His campaign slogan obviously resonated and continues to resonate with people in this country. As slogans go, it's a pretty good one, right? It's nostalgic, evoking potentially many various aspects of America's iconic past. assuming that you think that America should be great again, there's an implied agency and hope in it. We can, together, make America great again. And like all good slogans, it's sufficiently vague to appeal to a broad group of people. And since our president-elect is calling for us to aspire to greatness together, it is important for us as Christians to think hard about what greatness is. For the church has long spoken, and the scriptures speak of greatness. And as we have seen with King Herod, the world's understanding of greatness and the church's understanding of greatness can be at odds. And so however useful they may be, we ultimately cannot be satisfied with vague appeals to greatness. What we know above all else is that God is great. Yours, O Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the victory and the majesty, says the first book of the Chronicles. Indeed, everything that is in the heavens and the earth. There is none greater than God, and he is great in everything that he is and does. The character of God is greatness, and in his greatness are the fullness of grace, of patience, of power, of love, of wisdom. And that greatness has been directed toward his creation. The Lord has done great things for us, and we are glad indeed, sings the psalmist. We share in the greatness of God through Jesus Christ. And as human beings, we look to Christ for the character of that greatness. In Jesus, who died on the cross, above all, we see the greatness of love. No greater love has a man than this, than to lay down his life for his friends. We see in the life of Jesus, through his concrete actions, the greatness of God's love and mercy and patience. Jesus also gives a number of explicit instructions oriented towards greatness. If you want to be great, you must be a servant. You must be humble as a child. It's in Matthew 20. If you are to be great, you must follow the commandments of God and teach others in the same. In Matthew 5. What we see in Jesus is that greatness in the world is only to be found in goodness. And what the prophet Micah summarizes as acting justly and loving mercy, and walking humbly with God. And this, perhaps, more than anything, is forgotten in our modern politics, whether liberal or conservative. There is no greatness to be had without goodness. The notion that we can become a great people with no mind to becoming a good people, a just and merciful people, has been utterly foreign to most societies across the ages. To be great, the scriptures teach, is to share in God's kingdom. Talking about John the Baptist in Luke 7, Jesus says that none among men are greater than St. John, but that the least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he. The kingdom of heaven is our hope. It is the greatness in the world that we're looking towards. We receive one of many images of it in today's Old Testament reading from Isaiah. It is joy in the presence of God in his redeemed creation. And And so any real greatness that we would look towards in America or otherwise must resonate with the activity of God in Christ. A great America must foster goodness, just and merciful action in its people. It must fearlessly aspire to enact the kind of basic prosperity described in Isaiah: health and homes, good and productive work, peace among the people. America, or any nation, is not the same as the kingdom of God, and it never will be. For nations are for the just and the unjust, the faithful and the faithless alike. At the same time, we as followers of Jesus have been given by the God who will judge the world an image of true greatness. We are called by God to give account to the world of the hope that is in us. And that brings us back to Jesus and the temple. The worldly structures of greatness, the temples and the palaces and the harbors, the roads, the factories, the seats of government, and the walls are provision. They will be torn down at the last day, or perhaps before that. And whatever true goodness they facilitated will endure and be brought to completion. And whatever evil they facilitated will be judged and destroyed. And what we will have on that day will not be Jesus making the world great again, but Jesus straight up making the world again. And it will be great. It will be great because God will be with us and reign over all. And this vision transcends our politics. It is neither a progressive vision nor a conservative vision, because it is not something that we accomplish over time, and nor is it something that we guard or retain or preserve. Rather, it is something entirely new that we will receive from God as a gift. So it should temper then, this reality should temper somewhat our zeal for worldly politics, for business and achievement beyond what we need to subsist, for however much we desire greatness in our society. And it is within the bounds I described a good thing to desire and to work for. Whatever our vision for it, though, we know that such greatness is actually less determinative, less important than cultivating our own goodness, our own justice, mercy, and forbearance as members of Christ's body. Tentatively and haltingly, I think that this Christian vision of greatness offers some specific guidance to those of us who have been and continue to be caught up in the fever of this recent election. If you're disappointed, and many are, take heart, for all things and people will be judged by God, and there will be justice. If you are excited, work for the good within yourself, in your family, among your neighbors. And temper that excitement to the extent that it's proud, for the sake of your brothers and sisters who are uneasy. Don't be willfully blind to the things that are not great in this society. And listen to those who are naming those things. If you're angry, don't curse others. Don't act violently. If you find yourself pleased, self-satisfied with the sorrow or the anger of others, resist that, turn from that. There is no good that can come from that disposition. If you're afraid for your friends, be brave and walk with them. And if you're afraid for yourself, I would like to say that there are some among the faithful who will stand with you. But do know that if you are persecuted, the God who made you and will judge the nations has numbered the hairs on your head, and that in your endurance you will gain life. Above all, for all of us, even above the election of an American president, which is talked about across the globe, sing the praises of the Lord, for he has done great things and is known in all the world. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the